think I'm going to be connecting with some of these records tonight because of some live music that just went and saw last week, and it was really great. We got way to Milwaukee. We got to go to Warped Tour, which was really cool. And Lauren treated me to some tickets. We got to go see Sylvan Esso with some friends in Milwaukee. So we had a great time. I'll talk a little bit more about what else we got to see there. And feature some really great records tonight. I've got a couple of newer records, a couple of reissues, and ended up bringing out 2 Holy Grails instead of just 1 Holy Grail. So we'll be getting to that too. I think we're going into episode 9 right now of Vinyl Happy Hour. So yeah, we're really excited about that. We've been definitely pulling out some interesting releases and talking about a big variety of music over these last few episodes. I do want to encourage to get those comments coming in. If you're out there watching us right now, we've got Lauren here helping out. I'm Skylar from Culture Shock, and we are ready to get set with our episode 9 of Vinyl Happy Hour. Every Thursday night, we're going to be featuring a couple of different types of records and a couple of used records and a couple of Holy Grails, plus some new releases. And this is our way to kind of let you know what's going on in the record world between all the new releases, different record labels, and different things like that. So you can kind of have a better idea, and maybe you'll even find your new favorite band during our Vinyl Happy Hour. And we'll be featuring a different drink every week, too. So I definitely want to encourage you to leave comments if you're watching this below. Just let us know you're out there, what you're thinking about that. And if you're just catching this on a repeat later, just type R in the comments. Let us know you're watching it as a repeat. We'd like to know who's viewing our Vinyl Happy Hour episodes. I'm Skylar Davis from Culture Shock here in Rockford, Illinois. And recently, Lauren and I, we went to Milwaukee last week with some friends, and we got to check out Sylvan Esso. Such a great live show. And we got up early in the day, and we went up with some friends and went to Great Lakes Distillery up in Milwaukee. A lot of people might think of Milwaukee for a beer town. I'm not a beer drinker, and that's okay. Beer's all good and stuff like that, but I'm usually more into bourbon. What's really strange is tonight I'm actually drinking a gin. I didn't think I liked gin, but what's so cool about these like custom craft distilleries is the way they can make things and the different things that go into making a drink, which end up affecting the flavor and, you know, finding a different thing that you like that you didn't know you did. We even took the tour. We got to meet Brendan there, I think, and Ross. Was that the guy who did the tour? They were a lot of fun. Got to give us a lot of drinks and tell us more about their copper pot distillery there. They started before Prohibition era, so they've been around a long time. They were able to keep going. A lot of these distilleries were selling it as medical use or something during Prohibition in the 20s and 30s. They're actually more known for their gin and vodka. I was interested to check it out because I usually drink whiskey and bourbon. If I drink it all, that's my choice usually. What's really interesting about this gin is that the botanicals and some of the stuff they used to make it there in their custom, copper distillery, they also add some Wisconsin ginseng. So it's a very local thing. That gin, which is clear gin, clear spirit, was really good. I tried that and I liked it. I especially liked it chilled. But this was a special bottle. We got to check it out. This is batch number 20. On the tasting, we actually got to try batch number 19. It's called their Barrel Reserve Gin. And they actually put their gin and aged it in whiskey barrels. And as you can see, the coloration of it from the whiskey barrel really sweetened it up, gave it a little more of a brandy or whiskey flavor. The tour guide told us that batch 20, which was for sale, was a little older. He didn't prefer it. He preferred batch 19, which was a little younger. So I had to go try batch 20 at the tasting, and I found it to be a lot sweeter. This is the first time I've opened the bottle I picked up. It's just as I remember it. It's actually got a very fresh taste to it. But the sweetness of the oak and of the whiskey barrel, that's why I chose that one. It was really cool being in the tour tasting them. They just do one different barrel of their Barrel Reserve Gin a month and put it up for sale. It's just a lot of hand craftsmanship goes into that distillery style brewing, or distilling, I mean, and their gins and whiskeys. So they also have vodka there. They have a lot of other great drinks and some honey infused gin and other things too. So it was a really great tour. Then we got to go after the drinking tour to, where did we go? What was the theater there?
Pabst.
Oh yeah, Pabst Theater. And we got to see Sylvan Esso. First time I've ever seen them. Lauren and I are a big fan of their records. We listen to them a lot in the store. Damn, they were so cool live. This is their latest album from 2017. It's called The What, or Just What Now. And what's really cool about this is they did random colors of vinyl. So this is the regular store release. We have it at Culture Shock. And they're doing random colors of red, green, and blue. So I'm going to leave this one sealed. I have a red copy, I think. So whoever gets to buy that one will open it up, find out what color it is. If you haven't listened to them or haven't seen Sylvan Esso, they're like considered more of like an electro-pop duo. They have a really cool DJ doing all sorts of beats and loops and electronics, and the vocalist, she has the most powerful vocals, the greatest performance. I could say it's definitely for fans of anything from Massive Attack and Bjork to, you know, Nine Inch Nails, James Blake, so many other artists, but with so much energy, so much passion. This was the first album that they got us hooked on a couple years ago, their first full-length release. A great band, Sylvan Esso, SylvanEsso. What now? So definitely go check them out. Give them a listen. We have the albums here at the store too at Culture Shock. Such a great live show. This next band, I'm sure many of you have heard of. They're doing some reissues of their 90s pieces. This is the band Gwar. This is Ragnarok coming out tomorrow. New releases come out every Friday. We're doing these videos on Thursday to feature some of the new releases. This album is This Toilet Earth. I think this is from 94. This one was from 95. The first time these have ever been available on vinyl. Gwar is considered more of like a thrash metal band. You've probably seen videos of them or in a movie or something. They're crazy. They have these crazy alien outfits. They're from some other planet. They say, I forgot what planet they're from, but they look like, I don't know, crazy, swiny, dreaded creatures at their concerts, which I saw at Riot Fest a couple years ago. They dress up as different people and aliens. They were dressed up, I think, as Trump and Hillary or something, ripping each other's heads off and spraying the audience with blood and goo and stuff. It was a lot of fun. They're pretty wild. They actually sound more like a punk thrash metal band. But what's cool about this older stuff is, first time it's ever been on vinyl, they did limited 1,000 copies of each of these records. This one happens to be available on gray and white marbled vinyl. The 90s were a very dark time for vinyl, and not a lot was produced. So cool. They are still active, still a current band. This is one of their latest albums. We have that available on pink vinyl. Check them out. They're a lot of fun to watch, a great live show, and a lot of fun to listen to. There are some reissues out from a Chicago hip-hop artist, Common. Hopefully you are all familiar with him. He's a underground legend, kind of more of the positive hip-hop artist. But what's cool about his rap is that he has some great DJ loops and stuff like that, and has sampled so many classic records and jazz and soul, funk, rock and roll. Just a great hip-hop artist. He's still around. This is the 25th anniversary that came out here a little bit ago of his very first album from 92. And then Resurrection, it's a 1994 album. A big thing that's really common in records, especially hip-hop records, is finding out what samples were used. A lot of them didn't use keyboards and drum programs and stuff like that to make their beats and their songs. They would loop old records, 45s, things like that, and modify them to make the beats for their song. One of the underground records that he used on the Resurrection album was from this 1971 album, I think, Archie Whitewater. It's a really obscure record. This is a holy grail. This is a pretty rare record. It didn't make many copies of it. It's never been issued on CD. There was only one reissue of it a few years ago. It's kind of an underground gem of soul and funk, and a little bit of jazz even. It was on the Cadet Concept label, which was an offshoot of Chess Records, which is known for blues and jazz and things like that. But it kind of hits more of a psychedelic sound for the soul and funk. It's out there. It's a little different. And there's a couple great instrumental parts that have been sampled by other hip-hop artists. Common used, I forgot which song on here, pulled some beats from it though, and slowed it down, and it's the background beats to one of his songs on the Resurrection album. So that's what's really cool, to find an album, to find someone like Common or Beastie Boys or someone else who sampled from an old artist and made it their own song. They chopped it and used just a little segment or a longer segment. This is a pretty rare record. It typically sells for $100 to $200. We have a copy in one of our rare crates at the store. That's the Archie Whitewater album. You can tell by looking at the artwork that it's probably a little far out. It's got a weird look to it. It's got a weird sound to it, but it's got a really kind of groovy, funky soul sound to it. So I don't know if you guys have any Holy Grails like this in your collection, but if you want to leave a comment below, I'd love to know what kind of Holy Grails are hiding in your record collection at home. Leave us a comment. Let us know. I'd like to research them a little more and find out some new artists. And this is a record I kind of just added on that's coming out tomorrow. I wasn't originally going to feature it, but it's just too cool. Atmosphere, another great hip-hop artist. He's from the Minnesota area, so he's got his own sound going on. There's a little indie scene up there that has their own music collective of some other hip-hop artists, too. His sound's a little different than what you're going to find from the LA and New York and Chicago crowd. His collection of records is getting pretty big now. I think he's been rapping for 25 years or so, at least 20. This is a collection of 4 different EPs that he's released over the years, and now it's all in one collection. It's called The Sad Clown Bad Year. So it's 4 different EPs on one collection, but it's a black and white thing. It comes with a coloring book, and it has his own branded crayons attached to the jacket. It's so cool that you can do that. And then inside here there is each record, I think one's black, one's white. Yeah, so it's black and white colored vinyl. And in there somewhere there is a coloring book. So you could even let your kids color the book. You could color it, whatever you want to do. Leave it uncolored, connect the dots. So it's pretty fun. There's the clown maze even. He's a great hip-hop artist, great DJ. Definitely worth checking out. I think this is just one of those cool collector's pieces that comes out where 20 or 40 years from now I'd like to look back and see who still has the crayons with it, or if they're missing from it. It's one of those cool collector pieces that I think we'd like to keep it around. So I have one more Holy Grail from this next one's from my personal collection. And that's the Holy Grail of gin right there. That's delicious. This is Ramases. I think that's how you pronounce it. It looks like Ramases, but I think it's Ramases. This is a reissue, a limited reissue from 2010. The album originally came out in 1971. It features the artwork of Roger Dean, very famous for tons of other bands that he's done work for, including Yes. The original pressings are quite rare. I think usually in the $200 to $400 price range. It's a weird album. It's a little psychedelic. It's a little folky. The backing band on it is actually the band 10cc. The singer and the artist who calls himself Ramases was friends with them and had been in another band. I forgot his name. I think his name is like Kim Blake Smith or something. But he was a little weird. He worked a regular job, lived in England. Sadly, he committed suicide a few years after he recorded this album. But right before he made this album, he was driving to a customer's house or doing something in his normal day job and had a vision. One of the Egyptian pharaohs of history came to him in his vision and told him that he needs to perform music as Ramases and put the message out about the earth, spirit, air, and water of the pharaoh has to be told to other people. So he began going by the name Ramases. He started wearing silk robes. He shaved his head, wore big gold hoop earrings, dressed like a pharaoh, gave his wife a new name as an Egyptian princess, and made this really strange album. It's a very eerie album. I think the first thing that strikes you is going to be the artwork. It's the coolest fold-out panel. Hopefully you can see this all on the camera. This is Roger Dean's most expansive artwork that he's ever done. That was more than just a gatefold jacket. On the reverse side is a picture of Ramases and his wife. It looks pretty strange. I think it's pretty far out just by looking at it. Listening to it, you can tell it's a pretty far out record too. It's got a pretty unique sound to it. It's pretty psychedelic. It's a little eerie. I love the album. I'd love to find an original. Even this reissue, they made 2,000 numbered copies. I have number 292 of 2,000. Has been out of print for years, and even that has gone up in price if you can find one. There's no streaming of it on the internet. I don't believe it's ever been released on CD. It's just another one of those obscurities, and that's what makes it a Holy Grail. A proper Holy Grail to me has value usually, has great artwork, has a great sound, has a unique band or unique music on it, and a unique message, and this one hits all of those for me. So I don't know has anyone ever heard of this album? It's pretty cool. I just can't stop looking at the artwork. It's so psychedelic and trippy and otherworldly. So I'd love to find an original. It's probably pretty rare. I like to find them in person. I don't usually buy online. I like digging through crates and record collections and looking through stores. So yeah, whenever you're at your local record store, be sure to dig in the crates and find those rare items, those holy grails. Again, we get new releases every single Friday. We try to procure the most interesting independent labels and artists, plus used records of all sorts of genres. And yeah, I'd love to see you guys checking out some things. I'd love to see your comments, hear what you have to say about our show. Like I said, this is episode 9. We record them live, so we just go with it. And if you want to watch a higher quality version of this, or if you missed part of our live stream, we do have them up on YouTube. You can find them, Vinyl Happy Hour on the Culture Shock Clothing and Records YouTube channel. There's links below, too. But yeah, please leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any comments on the records featured tonight, and if you have any ideas for anything else. And Lauren and I will check them out. So again, you can find us at Culture Shock Clothing and Records here on 2239 Charles Street in Rockford, Illinois. I'm Skylar, host of the Vinyl Happy Hour, and Lauren's been here helping us with comments and everything else with filming too. So until next week, guys, thanks so much. Do we have special news about next week's video or no? No, maybe not. We might have special news. We'll try to do it on Thursday, but we're going to be traveling a little bit, so we might have special news. Keep checking the Culture Shock Facebook and Instagram for updates, all right? Until next time, cheers. Thanks so much.